Ever wondered what a pirate does when he's done with sea shanties and buried treasure? Maybe he just runs for mayor. I know, it sounds like the setup for a dad joke, but the real-life tale of one salty buccaneer who swapped cutlasses for council meetings is as strange as it is delightful. So brew your tea, get comfy, and let's meet the pirate-turned-mayor. Picture midnight waves and a pirate deck lit by lanterns swaying in the ocean breeze. Our character, let's call him Captain Elias Silvertoe, Barnes began life with a wooden leg, or is it peg? Historians are gay, but let's say peg. It's more fun. He sailed the Caribbean in the late 17th century, infamous for commandeering merchant ships and sporting an eye patch better suited to a rock star than a sailor. A typical day for Silvertoe: drink grog, shout R, and maybe misplace half his crew somewhere in a tavern brawl. But one evening, a particularly boisterous storm tossed him onto the shores of a sleepy coastal town, let's call it Port Whisper. There, he found something novel. Tranquility. No cannon fire, no chaotic mutiny, not even a decent rum, just quiet docks and people who feared him slightly less after he offered to help bail water out of someone's boat. A pirate helping, voluntarily. Surreal, right? Instead of plundering, he dug in, literally helped with dock repairs, taught locals knot dying, very pirate, and soon became a fixture. The friendly neighborhood ex-buccaneer. He still wore his tricorn hat to keep the sun off, and folks thought it quaint. Surprisingly, this hardened sea rover turned into a trusted figure. So much so, that after a debate, the townsfolk convinced him to stand for mayor. At this point, he likely asked, "Does that come with loot?" Thankfully, they said only civic responsibility, and, ironically, that stable retirement looked more luxurious than any treasure chest ever did. Picture a campaign poster. Vote for Silvertoe Barnes. From plunder to public service, his stump speeches, delivered from a barrel pirate flair, with just a touch of sarcasm. I promise not to make you walk the plank just to walk the streets with you. Voter turnout soared. Maybe because his speeches came with free grog, just kidding, but his reputation as a once terrifying pirate made him oddly trustworthy. If this guy can go from mutiny to municipal budgeting, you feel like he might sort your garbage pickup schedule without flinching. During the campaign, he peppered in quirky comparisons to modern life if Zoom existed in 1690. He'd probably pirate some Wi-Fi just to say, "Avast, you've got mail." And when someone asked how he planned to fund civic improvements, he deadpanned, "Well, I can't exactly extort the rich anymore, but maybe I can just tax them gently." The locals loved it. Few things are as disarming as a pirate who can joke about taxation rather than inflict it. And so, the day came. Captain Barnes, now Mayor Barnes, cut the ribbon clearly reclaimed from a merchant ship, to open the new town hall. The building had a modest sign that read, "Town Hall. No looting allowed, but board meetings welcome." He set a tone. Calm, steady, a bit whimsical, with governance practices surprisingly orderly for a guy who once enforced discipline with a pistol. He introduced reforms. Morning curfews, no plundering allowed, presumably. Improved dock safety because falling overboard is still bad, and a surprisingly fair tax system, progressive. Even he joked in council meetings, "I prefer treasures in the public treasury, rather than buried in chests." His dry chuckle echoed in the wood-paneled room. Townsfolk commented that he managed meetings with more tact than some landlubber bureaucrats, maybe, because after commanding a pirate crew, managing a council was the easiest mutiny to suppress. Conflict arose when nearby pirate gangs he'd known a few threatened repayment. They appeared near the shore demanding tribute, but Barnes faced them down not with cannon fire, but with a firm speech. "I used to take from merchant ships, but now I just want to build bridges, not burn 'em." His sincerity and diplomatic approach, plus a discreet showing of his old pistol for effect, convinced them to back off. The result? Peace, and a funny anecdote. The pirate mayor talks them into peaceful retirement. Even his staff joked that town hall meetings felt like pirate court, but without the deadly walk. He chaired sessions with a calm grin, saying, "If you disagree with me, you'll have to outvote me today, not outrun me." A gentle nod to his past, but with the promise of democracy now steering the ship. Now here's a sweet, bizarre twist. One day, while inspecting the basement of the new town hall used for filing documents, he stumbled upon a locked chest hidden under floorboards. Naturally, his first thought, booty. With a bit of nostalgic glee, he cracked it open, and found town records, ancient deeds, tax ledgers, birth certificates. Not treasure in gold, but treasure in history. And yes, the irony was thick. The pirate who once buried chests now unearths archival chests. He let out a quiet laugh. You can't loot paper, but paper is treasure. The documents helped him trace family names of long-ago settlers and ensure fair land deeds. Quite literally, he's safeguarding citizens' property. In a way, he'd swapped plundering for preservation. That's a twist you didn't see coming. Pirates don't usually care about bureaucracy, but our gentle pirate mayor did. The townsfolk found that charming. A local baker quipped, he used to bring chaos, now he brings cake and old birth records. And on quieter nights, he'd sit at home peg leg aside, tricorn hat on a hook and leaf through dusty ledgers, setting things right one parchment at a time. Life had become slow, peaceful, and meaningful. Years passed. Under Mayor Barnes, Port Whisper grew, constructing a proper school, so kids wouldn't learn naughtying from former pirates, planting gardens, and building a small library in the old tavern. He funded it partly by a gentle tourism fee. People came to visit the pirate-turned-mayor. Take selfies by the statue, yes. A modest bronze of him tipping his tricorn, and by postcards with silver toe. Says vote responsibly. Humorous, slightly self-aware branding. Other towns took notice. Maybe we should charm our way out of violence, they'd muse, like Captain Barnes did. A wave of rehabilitated characters running civic offices emerged, though none quite as seafaring. It's an odd legacy. One pirate's transformation inspired a regional trend toward redemption, civic engagement, and tea-time reflection over tavern brawls. To this day, if your heart's willing, local storytellers whisper, when burglars hear about Mayor Barnes. They quit burgling, they'd rather petition for office. I'm exaggerating. Maybe, but that's the charm of quirky history. It's part reality, part legend, and all really fun to ponder as you drift off to sleep. Newspapers of the time printed on rough rag paper wrote that his candidacy was unprecedented, but welcome, a nod that even the usually dry as old ship biscuit found charm in his transformation. He highlighted his pirate-style logistics experience, loading cargo quickly, negotiating under duress, as oddly useful for managing town affairs. Before long, ballots were cast, votes tallied, and Silvertoe Barnes was elected mayor. A unanimous result. Maybe not, but remember, a pirate's persuasive skills are legendary. Think of modern piracy, not on ships, but online. People torrent movies, music, or software. It's like 21st century plunder, but of bits, not bullion. Now imagine one of those pirates starts their own open source project, and becomes head of a tech town's council. That's the same kind of redemption arc, digitally updated. It's too dry. Picture this. I used to steal Spotify tracks. Now I manage the local library, legalize those downloads. Matey. Same spirit, just fewer parrots. Our tale reminds us. Transformation doesn't require dropping all your swagger, just swapping destructive habits for constructive ones. Had Captain Barnes lived today, maybe he'd be a YouTuber. Hi folks, Expired over here. Today, we discuss budgeting, not booty. He'd bring salty wit to City Hall vlogs, and people would tune in for the unexpected sincerity. It's telling how a man who once whispered "shiver me timbers" could still say "let us fix the streets" with equal charm. We like stories where unlikely heroes stay calm enough to reflect over tea about their past misdeeds. So, what can we take from our pirate mayor's journey? First, reinvention is really even for those with the most colorful pasts. If a pirate can swap cannon fire for community service, maybe we can swap gossip for empathy or binge-watching for a book. Second, leadership doesn't always come from the polish. Sometimes, it comes from the surprisingly human. Barnes' pirate past made him relatable, even dependable. Also, the best twists aren't always in plot, they're in life. A buried chest becomes archives, a feared pirate becomes your librarian mayor, and chaos becomes community. These stories remind us to watch for the unexpected, to cherish safe harbor after storms, and to respect that even the roughest paths can lead to gentle shores. Lastly, a small wink. If you ever feel like your past misadventures hold you back, consider this. Captain Barnes waited until his ship ran aground, and then built a town hall. Maybe your grounding moment is just the beginning of something unexpectedly calm. And maybe, just maybe, you'll run your own peaceful port someday. No peg leg required. And there we have it, our pirate-turned-mayor's voyage from marauder to municipal legend. If you enjoyed this slow-paced tale with a dash of dry wit, give this video a like, subscribe for more quirky history stories, and hit the bell so you'll be the first to hear our next bedtime-ready adventure. Share in the comments, what's the most surprising transformation you've ever heard of? Thanks for watching, sweet dreams, matey, and may your transformations be as charming as Captain